Morning, folks. This morning's soap stick is brought to us by Erasmic. This is the box that it came in, and the soap stick itself, I don't know if something happened during shipping or something of the sort, but anyhow, it's doing this at the bottom. So hopefully it'll stop doing that. It's a pretty creamy soap, works pretty well. Blade of choice today, it's going to be the Lord Cool. This is the wrapper it came in, and yeah, here's the box. That's what I was looking for. Lord Cool. These are Teflon coated. Work pretty well for my beard type. Shaver of the day is this one here. Is the Bali BR177 model. This one here is a rose gold. It's a twist to open, and there's the blade right there. I would consider the shave close to a medium. There is a little bit of a blade feel with this one here. It's not mild, I wouldn't say. It's pretty efficient, inexpensive. I think it's $5.25, $5.25, yeah, somewhere in there, $5.50, somewhere in there, at Maggard's. I got a link down below for it. And then, if you're wondering, this one here is the quick de changer from Italian Barber. Same thing, just different color. Anyway, thought I'd throw that out there for somebody that was kind of wondering about it. Also, the alum block. What's left of it, there's not a whole lot left. Haven't dropped it yet, but it's getting pretty small. Also got Humphrey's witch hazel that's got menthol and peppermint in it, and it's getting down to the bottom. This one here, this container is a bit bigger than what I normally find. This one here is 16 ounces. Usually what I find in the stores quite a bit smaller. And I'm going to be following the shave up with some from Wet The Face Aftershave Nirvana. Pretty nice scent. And the brush of the day is from Yaqi. I'm squeezing some of the water out of it. And it's got a cashmere knot in it. And it's somewhat easier for me to use a synthetic knot, and I've had good luck with horsehair knots whipping up with the face lather. Still kind of working with the the face lather thing. Definitely missing my bowl lathering. Things were going pretty well for me with the bowl lather. Thought I'd try to learn how to face lather, and it's sometimes, you know, I do pretty well with, depending on what kind of shave stick I'm using. They do lather up different. That's been my experience. I've been using, I guess you might say, a technique of trying to apply the soap on the face and work that direction with it. I know some people with a shave stick, they just lather it up on the brush, which I've been trying to put some soap on there and try my luck that way. That's how I've been kind of consistently doing this. And I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning, coconut oil for the pre-shave, and I'm going to see how this works out for me this morning. Had pretty good luck the past few shaves with creating plenty of lather. And this I should say, this shave stick has tallow in it, and it is the first ingredient that's mentioned, so it might be the reason why this one here is a little bit different than the spike I was using. I plan on doing another video with that here pretty quick, with using a brush that's got a synthetic knot, see if my lather works up different. As it goes for the shaves with this DE shaver, this Bali BR177 model numbers. It's been pretty easy going. I say there's a little bit of a blade feel, so if you're relatively new to this kind of shaving, this might be a little concerning to have that kind of blade feel, isn't it? But it's just a little bit. It's not real aggressive or anything like that. It's just enough to let you know that it's there. And been getting some pretty good shaves. Go throughout the day. Everything, looking pretty good. It is an easy shaver to use. I don't have very many. Putting some soap on the brush here. Hopes that I get plenty throughout all three passes. I don't have very many modern twist open shavers. I got a Parker, got a couple of Parkers that are twist open, I think, but I just really don't have very many that are twist open. And you'd be kind of surprised sometimes. At least I know for me, I have a tendency to reach for a twist open, and I think it's just because that loading mechanism is really easy. You just twist it, twist open, plop your blade in, and it lines up just right every time. Haven't had any problems at either one of these shavers. That I've done as expected. The only thing I will, I guess you might say, something you want to pay attention to if you decide to get a shaver like this, is that knob at the bottom. I have a tendency to put my little finger right there underneath the knob, and it will work its way loose if you're, depending on how you shave. It's just something to be aware of, that in other words, after each pass you might want to check that knob, make sure it's still staying snug. I think Italian Barber is selling theirs for around $10, and that's with that being on sale, and it's on sale at Maggard. So, and I got mine on one of those Black Friday specials, so I think I paid $2.25, $2.50 for it. Just in other words, how could you go wrong? I couldn't pass it up because it's a nice color. I am getting lather everywhere, and as much water as I squeezed out, you wouldn't have thought there'd be that much left. I have to say I am much better at bowl lathering. Have much better luck with it. I know I mentioned in the videos before, but they say 15-20 shaves, and it probably has a lot to do with your technique, what you're trying to develop. I think this might have to work. I've been my video camera. I use a video camera. I don't use a cell phone to make my videos, and the button that you use to start and stop your videos is starting to get kind of worn. I've had this video camera for a good number of years. It is an old one, especially when you talk about electronics. It's not as bad as having like a VHS by any means, but it is an older video camera, and it's starting to show signs of wear. So I've got another inexpensive one I might be trying here pretty soon, as soon as I make sure I got the settings where I want them. Settings are a little bit different. You know how it is, go from one manufacturer to another, they have different settings, and trying to figure out what all the icons mean. And I think you're probably going to need to take a moment to look at the book and see what it has to say. Sometimes you can kind of tell what all the icons are, and you can figure it out from there without having to look too much at the book. But I think on some of this I'm going to have to figure out what it's trying to say, because the settings are so much different than the one I'm using right now. like I said, this shaver is easy to use. To me, I don't find it difficult to find the angle. If anything, I'm still trying to find my way with the face lathering. And if chunks of the soap keep on falling off, I might be putting it in a bowl anyway. Here pretty soon I think I'm going to try my hand. I've had these 2 containers for soap sticks, where you make your own soap and put them in the soap stick container. And I've had these 2 containers for a while, and trying to, I guess you might say, work it out in my head how I'm going to take. I got some soap from Soap Commander. It's a grab bag, and I got chunks of soap, and some of them are like soap samples. Some are actually like maybe pieces of the, I guess you might say, the loaf of the soap. And I'm thinking about molding some of that all together and putting it in a soap stick. See how that works for me. It'd be pretty cool to have a stick of Soap Commander. If you haven't ever tried Soap Commander, it is a vegan formula, and yeah, this one here is not. And to me, I can tell the difference in between this soap stick and the one I used before. There is a little bit of feedback through there. I noticed it more so on the across the green pass and the against the grain. Slickness is plenty. Oh, should mention also with this particular blade, easily, well, I say on the third use on this blade, on the against the green pass, I noticed that it was a used blade. First 2 shaves, I couldn't tell the difference between the first and the second. Third one on the against the grain pass is when I really started to notice that the blade was starting to show wear. I could tell the difference at that point. Pretty good blade. I enjoy these blades. And typically for me, what works well is anything that's Teflon coated. Platinum blades usually work fairly well for me. Probably the one that, if they're just stainless, no coating, those are the ones that are, I guess you might say, more hit miss. Just depends on what kind of shaver I'm using, whether it works out well for me. And but these blades here, I was really surprised how well they work for me. Lord Platinum works well for me. In other words, along the Lord series. If I remember right, I think it was Lord Elite, I think was another one. Just depends on your beard type and what you prefer. But Lord blades, they've got several that seem to work well for me. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze some of the shaving cream out of the brush there. I mean, it's got plenty in there, and a synthetic has more of a tendency to turn loose of the lather than like I was struggling with the boar. But with a bowl lather with a boar, even with that brush not being broke in, I can still whip up a pretty good lather. I guess you might say another good example of that sort of thing is I have, so I can get inexpensive brushes, Preshave brushes, at the store here locally, under $5. I can whip up a pretty good lather with in a bowl with those brushes there, and it's like a boar knot. Got plenty of scritch if that's what you like. Thinking about using one of those here pretty soon. Test out, see how it face lathers. I have a good feeling that that particular shaver is going to, that brush is going to work well with face lather. Even with the not being broke in my past experience, just not having hardly any trouble with that brush whipping up a lather. To me, it seems like it's more of an experiment. Face lathering, figuring out what kind of knot works best for you, until you, I guess you might say, really develop your skills with face lathering. You might be able to hear it. It might pick it up off that camera. There's a little bit of feedback. Just an easygoing shave, in my opinion. Good matchup in between the Lord Cool and Bali shaver. Either one of those, as far as that goes. There is one thing, if you're getting a shaver that's $5, $2.50, whatever the case might be, there's probably going to be some things that might kind of bother you with the shaver. In other words, the twist to open mechanism is, there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just, I guess you might say, not near as tight, or what somebody might consider smooth. Well, on the twist to open mechanism, that knob gets a little wobbly. For me, that sort of thing doesn't bother me, especially at that price range. The shaves I get with either one of them have been really nice. And no stinging. It is a good matchup. It's just kind of one of those things. I kind of figured that I wouldn't have any. My nose is itching now. Wouldn't have any issues with the this blade and shaver matchup. Lord Cool has been one of those blades that's been working well for me. No matter what shaver I put it in, it seems to do well for me. Got witch hazel going here. I guess you might say using the shaver is really not much of a challenge. I mean, if you've been shaving this way for a while, this particular shaver, it's pretty easy to find the angle. The blade matchup for me is working really well. Easy going shave, just whip one out real quick. Well, I just really enjoy this shaver, and especially at that price point. It's kind of hard to beat. But the only thing that will come remotely close, in my opinion, is if you can find a old Gillette Super Speed. If you can find a Super Speed right around the $10 mark, I know it's not going to look as good as this one here, but it'll shave just as good, if not better, than this one here. It's a little. The Super Speeds are a little bit smoother shaving than what this Bali is, but you really will enjoy the shaves. I say you will. I know I do. A Gillette Super Speed, in other words, like I say, you just plop that blade in there and you just go to town. Really nice shaver. Getting better. It's just a matter of tweaking everything now with the face lather, but my shaves are getting better. So thinking I'll let you know when I get to that point where I switch cameras to see how it works, if I can figure out how to get all the settings the way I think they should be. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.